There's a feeling you get standing at a window at night. You're looking at another building across the street. Dozens of windows, some lit, some dark, and behind every lit one is an entire life you will never know a single thing about. A kitchen, an argument, someone laughing at something you'll never hear. Something shifts in your chest. It's not sadness, it's not quite awe either. It's the strange weight of realizing how many lives are happening at the same time as yours, and how little of any of it you'll ever touch. Most people have felt this. Almost no one has a word for it. There are feelings like that, feelings so specific, so oddly private, that you assume you're the only one who has ever had them. You're not. Some of them have names, and once you learn the name, you can't unfeel how many other people were quietly feeling it too. There's a word for that feeling at the window. Sonder. It's that flash where a stranger stops being scenery, and you feel the weight of a whole life running behind a face you'll never see again. The person in the next car, replaying an argument. The old man on the bench, who was once someone's entire world. The barista you'll forget by tomorrow, going home to a life you'll never see a single frame of. Most of the day, other people stay a little blurry. Background, extras in your story. Then, for a second, the focus shifts. They're not the extras. You are in 1,000 stories being lived right now that have nothing to do with you. It's not exactly loneliness. It's closer to a quiet vertigo. The world getting bigger while you stay the same size. Sonder isn't an old word. A writer named John Koenig made it up, for a feeling that was always there, but never had a label, which is kind of the point. Some feelings are so common that each of us assumes we invented them. Here's a stranger one. You're in the middle of a really good night. Friends around the table, someone telling a story, everyone laughing. Nothing is ending. Nothing is wrong. And quietly, you've already started to miss it. You're still inside the moment, and part of you is standing just outside it. Watching it happen, knowing it won't last, missing it before it's even over. Some people call this anticipatory nostalgia. Nostalgia usually points backward. This one points it right now. Your mind picks up a memory that hasn't finished forming yet and starts to grieve it early. It's not that you can't enjoy good things. It's that you feel their edges. You hear the clock inside the happiness. Maybe that's why the best moments can ache a little. Part of you is already saying goodbye while everyone else is still saying hello. Now it gets stranger. You can miss a time you never even lived in. Old song comes on. A grainy home video from before you were born. A photo of a street that stopped looking like that decades ago. And something in you aches for it. Like you're homesick for a place you've never been. There's a word for this too. Anemoia. Homesick for a stretch of time you were never actually alive for. It doesn't make logical sense. You can't miss what you never had. But the feeling doesn't care. It isn't really about the past being better. It's about the version of you that seems to belong there. Calmer, simpler, living a life with fewer open tabs. You're not missing the decade. You're missing a self you imagine you could have been, in a world quieter than this one. So you look at an actual, old photo, not an imagined life, a real one. You, a few years younger, caught mid-laugh with no idea what was coming. And you feel this strange pull. You want to reach into the picture and tell them what works out, what doesn't, which people to hold on to, which nights they should stay in a little longer. There's a name for that ache. Énouement. You finally got the answers, and they're addressed to someone you can't reach anymore. It's a one-way door. You get the answers, but only after you needed them, and the person who was waiting for them can't hear you anymore. The strangest part isn't that you've changed. It's that you can miss someone who is, technically, still you. Sometimes you actually go back. The old neighborhood, the street you grew up on. You expected to feel like coming home. But you stand there, and the ache doesn't go away. It gets louder, The houses are the same. You're the one who doesn't fit anymore. And slowly, it lands. You weren't missing the place. You were missing who you were when you lived there. And that person doesn't live anywhere you can drive to. There's a Welsh word for this. Hiraeth, that homesickness for a home you can't return to, or one that maybe never quite existed. Because home was never really the address. It was a sense of belonging that lived in a specific time, with specific people, inside a version of you the years have quietly replaced. You can visit the place, you just can't visit the moment. Then there's the feeling that doesn't wait for you to go anywhere. You're at the party, saying the right things, laughing at the right moments. From the outside, you're fine. You're in it. But some quiet part of you is standing just behind your own eyes, thinking, I don't quite belong here. And it's not just this room, it's most rooms. Like everyone else got a manual for how to be a person, and your copy came with a few pages missing. People borrow a word for this. Monachopsis. The quiet, always-on sense that you're standing slightly outside a room everyone else seems to fit inside. It's not that you can't be around people. It's that being around them can quietly remind you how out of place you feel. Not dramatic, not a breakdown, just a low hum under an ordinary good time. And here's the part almost no one says out loud. The person next to you, laughing a little too easily. There's a real chance they feel it too. Let me stop here for a second. If one of these has been sitting quietly in your chest this whole time, the one that felt a little too specific, a little too much like it was written about you, I want to know which one it was. Not for the algorithm, just because that's kind of the whole point. You clicked on this thinking maybe you were the only one. So tell me the feeling that found you, down in the comments. And then scroll for a minute. You'll see how many people typed the exact same thing. Because there are 2 of these left. And the last one might be the biggest feeling on the entire list. When you're young, life feels like a story. There's a plot. You're the main character. Everything is building towards something. Some version of you that finally arrives. Then one ordinary day, you notice the story isn't really tracking anymore. The chapters don't add up to the thing you were promised. There's no clear arc, just days. Good ones, hard ones, and a lot of them that don't obviously mean anything. There's a name for that specific disorientation. Nodus Tollens. When the storyline you assumed you were following quietly stops holding together. It's not depression. It's quieter than that. It's looking up from a life you're technically living and thinking, wait, what is this story even about now? And the unsettling part is also, secretly, a kind of freedom. Because if it was never really a script, then nothing was ever going off plan. There was no plan. There was just you, making it up the whole time. Which leaves the biggest one, the one I saved for last. You're looking at a map, or scrolling past someone's life online, and it lands on you. You only get one. One body, one timeline, one narrow thread through a world with almost infinite doors. Every city you'll never live in, every person you could have become, every life that was fully possible, right up until the moment you quietly chose a different one instead. There's a word for this ache, too. Noozing. Being one person on one track, while every rut you didn't take stays lit just out of reach. It sounds like it should crush you. And sometimes, at 2 a.m., it does. But turn it a few degrees, and it says something else. This one, the life you're actually in, is the one you get to keep. Out of everything that was possible, this is the door still open, and you're the only one who gets to walk through it. None of these words fix anything. You'll still feel out of place at the party. You'll still miss the trip while you're still on it. 2 a.m. will still find you. But something small changes once a feeling has a name. It stops being a private glitch in you and starts being a human thing, one that has happened, quietly, to more people than you'll ever meet. That's the strange comfort in all of this. Every one of these felt too specific to belong to anyone but you, and every one of them turned out to belong to almost everyone. So they were never proof that something was wrong with you. They were proof that you were paying attention. Naming a feeling doesn't make it smaller. It just means you were never carrying it alone.